Hello everyone. Happy Women's Day first of all. And welcome to CodeNaari, a Women's Day special podcast by Geeks for Geeks. Today we'll be discussing 7 important aspects of career of a working woman. And joining us is Dhairya, who is a content creator and an educational podcaster. And she has done 500 plus podcasts across national and international platforms. Welcome, Dhairya, and please, we'll be talking about. Please greet our audience.
Sure. Firstly, thank you so much, Avni, for having me here. And I'm glad to be doing this with Geeks for Geeks on Women's Day. Happy Women's Day to everyone who's tuning in. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this conversation. And let's see what are the aspects that you're going to be discussing with me. And hopefully, it's going to be insightful for the audience.
Okay, let's get started.
Yes.
The very first thing we have is financial freedom and money management. And many women earn, but don't take charge of their money.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on this? Like they earn and never go for learning money management and how to grow their money. So, what's your take?
Sure. So I think, like you very rightly said, when it comes to just making money, I feel firstly in India as a country, whether you are a male counterpart or a female counterpart, there is a stigma attached with money, right? People are not comfortable talking about money, how much they make, how do they make it. Conversations around money are always awkward, even with our parents. At least that is what I remember of, right? But I think when it comes to money, especially, and when it comes to the money a woman is earning, that's even the most stigmatized. Because pehli baat to, if we look at, let's say, 10 years from now, the wokeness that was there amongst the society with women earning money was not there. And I don't think we had as many financially independent women as we have today. So the major problem is people were not used to women coming home and bringing home a check or bringing food on the table. That changed, right? So the first stigma that was broken was that a woman can also go out, step out of the house and earn money. Then when she started earning money, the other stigma was that she can have, let's say, a married life or a personal life and have, let's say, children and a job and still manage everything and make money and then make decisions around where she wants to spend that money. So dheere dheere, layer by layer, I feel um there have been stereotypes that have been broken. Mostly women have been very hesitant with making decisions with respect to their money because they've always been told they're not good with money, right? But like I said, if we stuck to just somebody telling us we're not good with money, it wouldn't work. I mean, today our finance manager is a female, but of the country. But the point is, it's obviously changed to a certain extent. The problem was, I think, if I think about myself also, I even today, at most times while I say this, if I have to make a very big important financial decision, or even recently with respect to GST and so many complications and stuff, I always resort to my father over my mother. That's a different case that actually, in my personal family case, my father also understands the legal implications, taxes better, right? And that's not because my mother doesn't know it, it's just that he knows it better. And unfortunately, in most cases, because women either are not interested or don't show interest or are not encouraged, and hence they're not able to take charge of their money, right? And they'll always be like, either my husband will do it for me, or my father will do it for me, or my chacha will take care of it, ya koi aur dekh lega. We always want somebody else to guide us through it. It's only very recently that now I've started taking care of most things. Obviously, you have a CA and then you have people to advise you. But I feel it's very important that women know where their money is, where is it coming from, where are they spending it, how are they spending it, and is their money growing as well, and how do you make money from the money you're earning. So I think that awareness is extremely important, and I'm glad there are a lot of finance influencers, a lot of policies, a lot of schemes and encouragement, even by the government, is helping a lot of women at least get financially independent and more aware, because it all starts with awareness. If you're educated and aware, then you can make the decision. Agar aapko kuch pata hi nahi, you cannot do anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At what age you first got your paycheck?
My first paycheck?
Yeah.
This was when I was in second year of college. So I think I was 17 years. And it was through a internship come freelancing gig bula sakte ho. This was for writing travel blogs for a company. And I was paid 5,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah. It was very huge. मेरे
Okay.
लिए तो बहुत बड़ी बात थी. Yeah.
Okay. And when did you first started investing? Like,
I was late, but I think I started in 2023 Jan. That is when I started. 2023 May I had
and
started
your age
investing.
was at the
I am going to turn 27 now. I think I was 25 2 years back.
okay.
Yes, I was 25. So I was slightly late. I wish I had started earlier. I think even now I'm not very regular with my investments, but that is something I want to discipline in 2025. I want to make my SIPs more regular and increase the amounts and also invest in different assets. So that is what I'm aiming to do. But 2023 had started.
Okay, noted. So yeah, here is a tip. The earlier you started, the more it will be. And the next one we have is career growth and opportunity, Dhairya, the next aspect. And here I want to ask, like, women thinks like at certain point of a time their career got stuck. So what do you want to suggest and what they should do that it won't feel like this?
Yeah. So I think again, just because of the gender roles, I mean, we've always been told, and it is that way. It's not going to change also. I'm not going to come here and say वो change हो जाएगा. कितने भी forward आप हो जाओ, no matter what money a woman is earning, it is going to be the woman who will get married and go into the guy's house. It is the woman who will go and have to change and handle the in-laws, who will go through the labor and the pain of bearing a child, who will give birth, and who will have the major responsibility of taking care of the child also, household chores also, and your work. That is not going to change. I don't think that can change. So the feeling also hence at some point or the other that my career is probably going to come to a halt or a standstill for some time. It will. See, if you ask me personally, अगर मैं भी बोलूं कि just with that same zeal, enthusiasm, and freedom, I'm able to do everything I'm doing. Like I'm traveling 15 days out of 30 in a month, mostly. Do you honestly think it will be the same after marriage? No, the answer is no. Some things have to be compromised, and that will happen. But does that mean that a small halt for a small period means your career ends? That's the problem. You need to understand that yes, for a bit and for certain phases of life, because that is also important, right? You should nurture and cherish and enjoy that phase of your life. So if it means you need to slow down for a few months, great, but that should not mean your career comes to an end or it takes a backseat. That I don't think is the right thing to do. And also just thinking that just because you're married or you have responsibilities or you've had a child, people will not take you back in the workplace with the same mindset, or people may look at you a different way, is a very obvious misconception to have as women, because we've been stereotyped that way. कि अब तो शादी हो गई है, now you're going to take a break, so will you be able to work the same way, will you be able to give the same number of hours, etc., or will you be dedicated enough, how will you manage work and home? Yeah, nobody asks that to a man. Yeah, they also go to office, they come back, घर पे उनकी फैमिली भी होती है, हमसे क्यों पूछ रहे हो, आप कर लेंगे ना. So I think as long as our mindset is in place, our career cannot get stuck, because these things will happen. Every phase you have to get into, and nothing I would want to compromise for also. I've kept my career as a priority for so long. I don't mind putting it at number 2 for 6 months, but that doesn't mean that it will remain number 2 for 6 years. After the phase and sab ho gaya, it you have to come back to normal also. I would want to, after a period of time, give my career the priority it deserves and come back with a bang. Why not? So I think again, it's all about the mindset. It's about also taking a stand. I understand not every woman is encouraged. Not everybody has supportive parents also, or in-laws, or friends around them. So it's very subjective, and probably I'm coming from a place of privilege right now. But the idea is, irrespective of your circumstances, you have to take a stand for yourself. Because if you don't, nobody else is going to. So if you're feeling stuck in your career for whatever reason, you took a maternity leave, or there were health issues, or you wanted to give time to your marriage because you've just gotten married, whatever may be the reason, I feel The idea is that you enjoy that phase, but also keep in mind that this is only to rejuvenate, reset, unlearn, relearn, but you have to come back and get back to normal, right? Like COVID
Absolutely.
happened, but we got back to things. So I think as long as we can keep that mindset alive, it should all work out in the end.
Absolutely. I believe knowing what you deserve and asking for it, that could resolve this, I guess.
Yeah,
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 that's the thing. Okay. The next aspect we'll be talking about is learning right skill for future jobs.
right.
So, in this era of AI and automation, what do you think that skills every woman should learn to stay relevant?
That's a very, I think, relevant and important question, especially for all the audiences tuning in. I think, see, again, whether you're a woman, you're not a woman, I mean, whatever maybe your gender, etc., liking, the point is, if you want to have an established career in today's day and age, and with the evolvement and advancement of technology, I think, while people may think the most obvious thing I'm going to say is AI, machine learning, etc. Yes, I will probably say that you should understand artificial intelligence as a technology firstly. Fundamentally, what is AI? What does it do? How has it evolved? AI was also there in 2010 and 2008, but it's very different in 2025. What is the journey of the technology been over the past few years? What all sectors does it impact? How does it impact them? What are the use cases of AI in healthcare versus in edtech versus in fintech? What are the tools that are being developed every single day, whether it's productivity tools, whether it is tools like chat gpt, gpt-3, gpt-4, adobe firefly, or deepseek now coming in, or anything else. You should be aware of everything. You should know the basic utility of everything. Prompting is a skill you should learn. If you can prompt any AI tool well, I think your life just becomes easy today. मतलब अगर आपको सही prompt डालना आता है, that's the reason prompt engineers are getting paid hefty amounts, and it's such a cool and up and coming career. So I feel if you can learn the art of just understanding a AI tool, prompting an AI tool well, and understanding AI as a technology, that's number one. It's a great skill to have. But I think apart from that and all the buzzwords, I also feel it's very important in general to develop this skill and knack of being more emotionally intelligent and resilient to excel at any job today. Whether you're a software developer, you're into QA, you are into DevOps, or you are a marketing consultant or a business development manager. I can pick across the spectrum, any job. I feel you have to deal with people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right now, we're sitting and doing a podcast. You are also working with Geeks for Geeks. You have a certain job description, right? You may be in the branding or the branding or the marketing department, but there is somebody else also working in, let's say, tech, right? But one thing common across any startup, any company, anything in the world is people. You have to deal with people. You have to talk to them. You give presentations to people. You join meetings where you're interacting with people. Clients are your people, are people, which means you're dealing with human emotions. So if you're not emotionally intelligent, you can't excel in a job today. You may have a high IQ, but if your EQ is low, I don't think you can sustain in the complex dynamic work system and workplaces we work in, right? People
True.
come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different upbringing, so you have to handle different emotions. So if you are not emotionally resilient and intelligent, it's difficult. And I think the one last skill I want to highlight, which would be very good to have, is obviously communication. Come what may, whether we are in 2025 or we move to 2055, I feel the one skill that will always reign over others is communication skills. Again, very linked to people, right? Because if you have to talk to people, you have to convince them. What are we all doing at the end of the day? You're either convincing a client to come on board and you're going to provide them your services or products, or you're convincing somebody that you have a, let's say, a better offering as a creator versus another. When you're negotiating with a brand, no matter which profession I pick up, you're always talking to people, and the person who is more persuasive in their communication will again win and get an edge over others. So I think three skills: a, just understanding AI tools and prompting; second, being good with your emotional intelligence and EQ; and third, like I mentioned, having great communication skills.
So true. Adding up to this is constant learning. Like,
Yes.
if you are not up for learning, you won't be able to do this all
Agreed.
at once.
I mean, you
So
have to be a lifelong learner.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So next would be content creation and personal branding. As you are already navigating this space since long, and you'll be the right person to say it all about this aspect of women's career. How do you think it's gonna be, adding up in their career growth?
Right.
So tell us, and how important is it for every woman to put their efforts into this career, personal branding?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So again, I think when it comes to personal branding, there's a lot of, I don't know, taboo around it, in the sense that a lot of people think that people are doing it today just for the sake of it, which is not true. I think personal branding is integral for every single person. See, every field has competition. 10 people want to do the same thing you want to do. Always remember that. Sabko founder banna hai, sabko creator banna hai, sabko software engineer banna hai. Now, if 1,000 people are going to be preparing for a software engineering job at Amazon, मैं तो कम बोल रही हूँ, how is it that you're going to stand out? There has to be something you will do differently, something you will learn differently. Now, almost everybody has the same level of education, same kind of institutions they come from. Everybody is now learning to speak better because everybody's understood communication is very important.
So
Everybody's at the same level with respect to extracurricular activities they did. सबके resume भी आसपास हैं. अब as a recruiter, as a company, when I'm looking for an edge or a USP or somebody, why should I, when I have A and B to be hired from, who do I pick? I need something that trumps over the other. Personal branding is something that not everybody is comfortable doing. 99% of the people are not comfortable doing it across the world, which means only 1% of the people are doing it, which automatically gives you the unfair advantage. If you have the courage to go ahead and build a personal brand online, because yes, it requires courage to put yourself out on social media, to put your opinion out there for public view. But if you can do that, you automatically separate yourself. It gives you that one streak, right, or a feather that sets you apart from others. And that way, in competitive situations, whether it is a MBA interview at an IIM, or it is competing for a tech job at a top MNC, or it is being selected as a coach or a creator over another creator or coach for a talk. Because if a corporate is also deciding, hey, let's do a LinkedIn talk, should we call Dhairya or should we call XYZ? Because let me tell you, there are 1,000 XYZs in the market. 100 people are claiming to be a career coach and being and teaching LinkedIn today.
Yeah.
But why would they pick me? It all depends on your personal branding and positioning on social media. Firstly, am I visible? मेरा नाम आप Google पे डालते हो. What's my digital footprint? Not just me. Anybody working at any company. If I put your name on Google, I type your name. What is showing? What's the first link that shows up? Is it a website? Is it a portfolio? Is it your GitHub repository? Is it your Geeks for Geeks link where you are taking part in coding and contest challenges? What is it? And what does it say about you? Is it aligned to your career goals and what you're saying you want to achieve? Right? So the entire social media narrative, especially on platforms like LinkedIn and professional platforms, is important. So if you have a digital presence today, it matters to recruiters, it matters to founders, it matters to anybody who can pay you money and can collaborate with you. Simple. Whether it's in the form of a salary, your freelancing payment, or anything else. So the point is, personal branding is extremely essential to stand out from the crowd and to get an edge. And content creation enables personal branding, right? When you create content on the internet, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter, or it's LinkedIn, or you write blogs on Medium, or you do any other form of content, that enables your personal brand because it keeps building the narrative over and over again, post by post, video by video, that you are, if not a thought leader, but you have some level of expertise or understanding about a particular subject or domain. So people start associating you with that name, right? Like today, people know me as a career coach and a LinkedIn creator. These two words instantly hit a person's mind, right? If I take the name of Bhuvan Bham, you know it's comedy, it's humor, it's acting now today because he's an actor. So when you start associating a person with two or three words, that's when they've established a personal brand. And that's happened why? Because we have seen Bhuvan's comic scripts, all of his series that he put out, and now producing his own web series. It's content that has helped him build the personal brand. So that applies to everybody across the board. Why is a Aman Gupta from board or a Vinita Singh creating content on Instagram and LinkedIn today? Why are they specifically talking about entrepreneurship, about startups, about business terms? Because that's the thought leadership they want to create. That content over a period of time has built a very strong personal brand for them. So
Absolutely.
that's how you go about it, and hence it's integral for everybody, woman or a man. And no matter whether you're in a tech job, non-tech job, you're a creator, freelancer, or an entrepreneur, I think everybody should get serious about creating a strong personal brand.
Okay, very true. And what would be your suggestion to someone who hasn't started yet, and let's say they want to start right away, or right after listening to your podcast?
Sure.
So, what would be their first move? Like,
Yeah. I think the first move should be to decide that if you've made your mind that, okay, I want to create a strong personal brand, I'm ready to create content, I'm ready to put myself out there for public viewing and my opinions to be publicly viewed. I think the first question you ask yourself is, which platform do you want to do it on? Because depending on, and what do you want to talk about, because when you know what you want to talk about and what you want people to perceive you as, it's easier to pick a platform. That's the first step. So if you know, hey, I want to share tips about different up and coming technologies. I also want to share my coding journey because I'm a student in my last year, and I want to talk about what tech stack am I learning, what language am I coding in, how am I learning it, from where am I learning it, and share my journey. And these are two things you're clear. Itna to karna hai. Then you ask yourself logically, where do you think, which platforms do you think people would be on interested to listen to these things? I feel number one, LinkedIn for sure, and YouTube more than Instagram. Someone who wants to grow in their career or is looking to get a job in the tech space or is looking to take up, let's say, computer science or IT engineering or a tech degree, aspiring to get there, will be a user or a consumer of your content. And you will find them more on LinkedIn and YouTube than Instagram, is what I feel, even on Instagram. So pick now whether you want to write first, because LinkedIn is more heavy on text, but now you have videos too. Or do you want to make long form videos on YouTube? What are you comfortable with? Are you ready to face the camera? Do you want to start with writing? You could also start writing blogs on Medium, technical blogs, whatever. So first pick a platform, basis the niche. The second step would be to actually be very, very consistent and create a pattern, which means just as per your schedule, your work timings, or your availability, and how much effort you want to put into this, just stick to a pattern. Which means if you've decided I'll put one post or one video in a week, please stick to that. I'm not saying make that 3 videos a week. Don't make it 3 videos a week, but that one video a week should go, and it should go for the next 1 year. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए after 1 year 0 videos a week are going. That one video can become 2 or 3, great, but that one video cannot become zero. So you have to be very consistent with what you start doing, because only then will you see some results or some growth or traction. See, even though you may not want to become a creator, nor are you doing it for the fame, who said that you will not, will anybody like it when they're getting 5 likes? But when they will get 50 likes, you feel validated. It's the truth. You'll feel like people want to read whatever it is I'm sharing. Everybody wants that validation. That will come with consistency, because after a point you'll question, why am I making these posts, why am I doing so much effort, मैं videos क्यों बना रहा हूँ, क्यों बना रही हूँ, right? That happens. I think the third step would be, anybody who's looking to get started with personal branding and creating content, I feel you should try and not diversify to different platforms very early on. So let's say you decided with starting with LinkedIn, stick to LinkedIn until you at least build a sizable community there, and then move to any other platform. Ye mat karna that within the first year only you've started with LinkedIn also, 3 months later you're on Instagram also, 5 months later you've started Twitter also. I don't think you should put your eggs in too many baskets in the beginning. Build your expertise in one, build your niche in one, build a strong community there, then move to other platforms. Because otherwise, it's very overwhelming. Anyways, you're doing something which is so unusual, which is telling everybody this is what I feel and think about something, and then everybody is open to say anything about what you think. Why would you want to add so much pressure of multiple platforms right in the beginning? Yeah.
The crux of this content creation aspect would be start small and stay consistent with your content creation and personal branding. That would bring a change lately.
Yeah.
In a long run it
In
will.
the long run, it will. Yeah.
Okay. The next aspect we'll be talking about is workspace biases, and we see, we know
Yeah.
that still we are, women faces workspace biases and misconduct. So what would be one should do, like, to avoid these and to not get part of these workspace biases, being a woman? Yeah,
Yeah.
that would.
Um, See, I don't think there's anything, there's no way we can stop it, but we can just, how do we react to it and how do we deal with it is what is in our control. I cannot control somebody saying something or somebody having a bias in any situation. Wo to, that's that person's take, right? And call, and they'll do what they'll do. So if I am working somewhere and my boss, for whatever reason, feels that my male counterpart colleagues are more effective at work, or they are just better at a particular job just because they are male members, I don't think I have control over him thinking that way. But what can I do to change that without going down a very, I would say, negative or a dirty path? What can I do? I think I can make my work speak for myself. I feel the best way to deal with workplace biases is to prove that yes, I firstly, obviously, we are women, we are female counterparts, no denying, and we are different than men. We are built differently. They definitely have better capabilities in a lot of aspects than us, and we have better capabilities than them in a lot of aspects. Acceptance, number two. But still, that does not affect the kind of work I do unless it's a very different labor intensive job. I cannot honestly see if I'm comparing somebody who's working on a construction site, when you have to lay the bricks, build a construction site, 100% hands down, probably most men will be more effective or productive because of just the way they are built as opposed to women, because picking up the intensive labor. But that doesn't mean women can't do it. You see women labor also at construction sites in different places. But overall, in general jobs, I mean, sitting at a desk, making documents, giving presentations, speaking to people, how does being a woman change anything? I don't get it, right? उधर तो मैं फिर भी समझ सकती हूँ. Like I gave you an example. So if that bias is still coming, I think the only way is let your work speak for itself. After a point, your age, your degree, your gender should not matter. Your work should be so good, or the output you're able to give to a company or a person should be so good that people's mouth is shut.
True.
I like to shut up people with my work, right? When I was 22 years old, I just graduated out of college back in September 2020 when I started creating content. So many respected, upper hierarchy people who were working in top companies used to comment on my post saying, why is a 22-year-old girl teaching us how to make a resume and crack interviews? अब 22 साल की लड़की हमें सिखाएगी कैसे करते हैं ये चीजें. And I understood where they came from. They were like, खुद अभी graduate हुई है. How is she? And I was going to MBA colleges, by the way, when I was 22 years old and teaching 27-year-olds, right, who were in MBA colleges how to build a resume. So that was a difficult pill to digest for a lot of people. But I was doing it. And why I was doing it, यार आप उन MBA college वालों से पूछो ना वो मेरे को क्यों बुला रहे हैं. कुछ तो reason होगा. So, but after a point, I realized let people speak and let people say what they say. The day you have enough testimony and proof of your work, um, people just shut up, honestly. Because today nobody comes and says, "Oh, even today I'll turn 27 next month. I'm 26." As a 26-year-old, now that I take corporate trainings for people who are 45, 50 years old, who are CTOs, CXOs, it's again overwhelming because they're 25 years elder to me. And obviously, their experience will always be more compared to me with all due respect. And yes, I only come with 4.5 years of experience, but I've given 4.5 years to it and given it my all. And there are certain results I've brought in for a lot of people right from the age of 18 to 50 on that track record, and on recommendations and my portfolio, people give me work. So today I don't have to sit and justify and tell people anything. So my only answer to workplace biases is आप अपने काम को and the work that you do and what you can do for a company or an individual you're working with should be so strong and impactful that nobody can point a finger towards you then. Nobody should even have that room to say anything. That's the only way, I think. Everything else is going to be a lot of nagging, a lot of back and forth, and I don't think you should have that energy or time spent there to do it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, this will be marked. Okay. The next aspect somehow related to the previous one only. Pay gaps and salary negotiation. We still, being a woman, agree when they offer and never, you know. Or okay, let's say I've asked for an upper part, like a next level pay scale, but then too I'll be agree at some point of a time when they push me to
We give in.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, how should women, uh, working women, deal with it? Like, yeah,
Sure. Um, I feel again when it comes to salaries and negotiations, and it comes to just um, fighting for what you think is right, and if you feel you deserve more, I agree. Women tend to, in general, feel very early on that whatever is being offered to us at the table is what we should just take,
yeah,
right? Because again, it's the conditioning, it's the mindset with which we've been brought up, right? Ki jo mil raha hai, adjust in it, be okay with it. You are the one who has to adjust, you are the one who has to settle down one day, go to somebody else's house. So we have always been told you have to adjust, you have to be okay with what you're given, you have to find a way out, figure a way out. Yeah, figure a way out, but what if I know that I deserve more? Should I not ask for it, right? But even if I ask for it and if somebody is still not, ready to meet me there, then what do you do in such situations? It's very tricky. You ask for a 10% raise, your boss is like, we cannot give you a 10%, but I can give you a 5%. What do you do? Do you then step down and agree to a 5%, or do you still fight for it? I think that's a very personal choice. Also depends. It's very contextual. Okay. If you genuinely feel the role they are hiring you for, the job description, your skill set, your years of experience, everything else is on point, and you are confident, like I said, that this is the value I bring on the table, anything less than this is not possible. Then yes, it is not possible, and you step down. Don't take that offer. But if you feel in the long run, it's a great company, I like the work culture, the team members are supportive, um, I think my career growth opportunities are going to be great. I know they're not matching me at the level I want to be matched at in terms of my salary right now, but you can see very good scope that 1 year down the line, this can change. Right? So it's very subjective. Then go for it. Settle for a 5% instead of a 7%. क्या हो जाएगा एक 2% की raise नहीं होगी in that 1 year if you know in the long run, because of the workplace culture, your leaders' qualities, and you understanding their nature, you see multiple times or multi-x growth in the coming years. So it's very subjective. I think sometimes it's also okay to not get exactly what you want, because a lot of times it's also happening for the better good. A lot of times in your current company, you may not be given a salary hike even after asking for it multiple times, because maybe you were meant to quit your job and start something of your own, and you ultimately became a businesswoman because of it. I've seen that with a lot of people. Or maybe you were to work in a different company that respected you, your skill set, and your ask better. And one fine day you will realize that, put down your papers and join a company that understood your value or your skill set, and you know how important of an asset you were for the firm. So I think sometimes things also happen for a reason. Sometimes I think you should also adjust for that 2 5%, 2 or 3% or 4% for that period of time. If you see in the long run, it's still going to work out and not going to matter. But having said that, if you feel no, even that 1% matters right now, and I want that 1% here, then don't settle. You have to ask for it. But I think when you ask for something, the confidence can only come when you are confident that you actually deserve it. See, I we are having a negotiation. The tone in which and the confidence with which my body language and how I tell you that, listen, I don't deserve 20K, for example, I deserve 50K for this. And what I'll say why I deserve that 50K is all that's going to determine whether you're going to give me that 50K or not. Obviously, a lot of times there are circumstances, is there a budget, there are allocations, how much is possible, kitna stretch kar sakte hain, all of that is there. But yeah, if you truly convince them that this is why you deserve this, I think most times you will get it. So yeah, I think that's how they can navigate these tricky situations around salary negotiations, or when it comes to asking for a raise, etc.
Okay, so again, the conclusion would be to know what you deserve and ask for it, whatever. And my next, like the next topic, which will be, I was asking about, I'll be asking about was only asking for it. But we, being a woman, not only in career part, we never ask for, the things we deserve. So how do you deal with this in your personal life? And what would be your suggestion to every woman who never ask for things?
Yeah. So I think, again, keeping it very short, I feel, see, not asking for things is something that in the long run piles up. Okay. In the short term, it has no consequences. Today you will not ask, tomorrow you'll say, chalo, baad mein puchenge, baad mein kar lenge, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. It builds up. Resentment, just like in anything, right? Today you had a fight with your mother, you didn't tell her the reason. क्या आपको बुरा लगा? You thought, चलो कोई बात नहीं. That same thing got repeated again. You didn't tell her this time also. Third time, fourth time, fifth time, sixth time, it's going to burst. You're going to have a very big fight because it is built up over those 6 other fights, and you didn't tell her or anybody else. Similarly, when you don't ask, when that one big thing will happen, na, jab jhatka lagega, and when you'll be like, yeah, how did this happen? How come, for example, you never asked for a promotion or a raise because you just thought your boss will give it one day. 3 saal ho gaye, mila hi nahi. And a person, let's say, who was not even working, putting in half your number of hours, they got the promotion or raise. That day you'll be in a corner and thinking, what happened? That is why it's important to ask for what you deserve. And because it builds up, it builds resentment, builds over a period of time. Short term, you will not realize it, and you may feel, what's going to happen? Your life will not change also drastically, to be very honest. Kuch nahi hoga. But jab you look at it in in hindsight, when you look back, it has a lot of repercussions. So it's better you ask for something you really think should be asked in any context. If you feel that it's time for you to switch careers in the same company, you want to move from a non-tech department to a tech department, or vice versa, or you want to try something new, something different, or you feel that it's time for you to step down and give some time to yourself and do something for yourself, do it. I think till the time you don't see, Ankur Variku says this very beautifully always, and I always look at him as a mentor, and he has helped me a lot in my journey. He says, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Obviously, जब तक आप पूछते नहीं हो, आंसर तो नो ही है. आज अब ऑब्वियसली मैं एक रैंडम सिनेरियो लेती हूँ. अब getting the prime minister, let's say, one day on my podcast is a very big thing, unimaginable, and I don't know when it will happen. I've started a podcast just 3 months back. Okay, but does that mean it can never happen? I will ask. Probably I'll never get replies for a year, 2 years, 3 years हो सकता है. मैं बोल रही कोई रिप्लाई ना करे उनकी पीएम ऑफिस से. बट टिल आई डोंट आस्क, द आंसर इज एनीवेज नो ना. कौन सा मोदी जी आके मेरे पॉडकास्ट पे बैठने वाले हैं वैसे भी.
So true.
बट इफ आई आस्क, there's a 1% chance also, or a 0.1% chance that 2 years later also he replies, and one day we get even 20 minutes of his time. Will that not change things? So the point is, if you are not asking, the answer is anyways no. इससे अच्छा पूछ लो.
True.
Right?
Ask for it, whether it's your life, workspaces, or
Any
personal
aspect.
any
Yeah.
aspect. Yeah,
Yeah.
so true. Okay, how okay, to ease out the situation, how are you going to celebrate Women's Day today?
Good question. So as you know, I'm here obviously in Noida right now. But yeah, I think right after this, I'm actually going to be attending another event in Delhi. And after that, I'm actually going to be meeting 2 of my girlfriends here in Delhi. Not just because it's Women's Day, वो तो plan बन ही गया था, हर दिन ही मिलती हूँ मैं. But yeah, I'm going to be celebrating with the 2 of them. Both of them are content creators, but one of them also has a full-time job. And I'm having coffee with one and dinner with one. So that's how I'm going to be spending my Women's Day.
A lot in your plate today.
Yes, a lot. I have a very busy day.
Okay. Let's do a quick rapid fire round with you.
Yes, please.
Okay. Biggest work distraction, gossip or social media?
Oh, this is difficult. I think It's more of gossip because I'm anyways not really addicted to social media.
Okay.
Gossip.
Okay. Power dressing or comfort over style?
Power dressing.
Okay. Office chai breaks or post work happy hours?
Mm, Post-work happy hours.
Pretty same. Replying to emails immediately or mark as unread for later?
Immediately. I'm very quick with my responses, whether it's text, whether it's emails, anything. I think I'm good at responding.
Okay. One corporate buzzword you can't stand.
Circle back. Let's circle back to this. When are you circling back to this? EOD, send this to me by EOD. EOD की तो definitions ही इतनी है. My EOD will be your next year. कुछ भी हो सकता है. What is EOD यार? एक standard time क्या है बता दो. Is it 8 p.m? Is it 6 p.m? Is it 12 p.m? What is EOD?
Okay. Salary negotiation, exciting or nerve breaking?
Exciting.
Okay. Overtime for extra pay or lodging off on time, no matter what?
Both, depending
Okay.
on what is
Okay.
needed when. Both.
First thing you do when your boss calls unexpectedly.
अब तो आदत नहीं रही मुझे क्योंकि 3 साल हो गए जॉब क्विट किए बट फर्स्ट थिंग आई यूज्ड टू
Let's
डू
say your
व्हेन
client call immediately.
अच्छा
Yeah.
कुछ नहीं कि अब तो कुछ क्या हुआ है व्हाट्स हैपेंड इज समथिंग रॉन्ग what has gone wrong now is my first thing is all okay yeah
Okay. One myth about work, corporate life that every woman should let go of.
um that that you cannot make it to the top. That's a myth. You can. We can all be leaders. We will all be given a foot in the door, and not just a foot in the door, a seat at the table as well. But that's only if definitely you should be first worthy of it, and you should be courageous enough to ask for it. If you ask for the seat at the table, you can get it.
Okay. One thing women should normalize asking for at workspaces.
I period leaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be very normal. Why not?
Dealing with a bad boss or quit for comfort.
Uh, I think this is also very subjective again, right? Sometimes for some period of time when you deal with a bad boss is when you realize what a good leader is also, right? The bad bosses teach you what does it mean to be a good leader and also teaches you who you never want to be if you become a boss one day. So I again think you should experience both. Just quitting very early on also may not help because dealing with a bad boss teaches you way more than you think.
So true.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather select a terrible boss with a high salary or a great boss with an average salary?
Great boss with an average salary after you have been through at least some experience of learning who are bad bosses, like I said previously. Then I'll choose the other.
Okay. Work BFF or lone wolf?
Work?
BFFs, like
Yeah.
working besties or lone wolf? What?
I think in a proper corporate environment, I'm a lone wolf. I don't think work colleagues can become like BFFs. वो बोलने के लिए BFF होता है. सबका time आ जाता है. When times come, you see things. You have to be very lucky. I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
A lot of people find really good friends at their workplaces, and you're blessed. You're really blessed. I do think लोग बोलते हैं आजकल तो college maybe you don't find good people or college mates are best, but a lot of people find very good friends in the corporate world too. But it's very rare, like 1 in 100 people. So hence lone wolf.
One perk every company should offer women.
One perk, the ability to choose for how much period of time after they give birth do they not want to come back to work. Generally people have a 6 month thing. I mean, companies have a 6 month policy, but what if a woman decides she wants to take a 1 year or a 1.5 year break and then come back? You should just allow them to come back whenever they want to. I feel so. Whenever they feel it's right.
Okay.
That one thing should be there.
And that would be the last. Like one skill that every woman should know to survive corporate life.
I think very difficult, but I think you should just be a good judge of human behavior and character, both. If you can understand where people are coming from, what are their intentions, what do they want from you, of you, why is someone talking to you a certain way, where are they coming from, and you understand them, you'll be good to go. I think this is for life. It's a great skill to have. If you're a good judge of human character and human behavior, you end up making better decisions. And if you make the right decisions, I think life will not be as bumpy, and then you can navigate through challenges. So, yeah.
Okay. You were great, and yeah, you
Thank
nailed
you.
it. Thank you so much for coming here. And before wrapping it up, I
Yes.
want to ask you guys if you have any questions. Please ask Dhairya. She's here, and yes, spam it, spam in the comment section.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me as well. I think it was a great conversation. And I think we discussed on a lot of aspects that I have not spoken about before. So I enjoyed this.
I'm good. How do you like our office?
I like it a lot. It's probably the third time I'm here. मैं आ चुकी हूँ पहले, but I come in like long gaps.
Oh.
So always forget, okay, इधर है.
Guys, any question? Okay. Okay. Let's wrap it. We are not getting any question, but
Sure.
yeah, people are saying it was an interesting session. Thank you so much for that. Do you have any other message on this Women's Day for
Yeah, I
ladies?
think just one last thing. I just feel, firstly, there's obviously a reason why this day is celebrated, but I'm waiting for the day when we don't have to celebrate Women's Day specifically on a particular day. I feel the same for every day. यार. Whether you say Valentine's Day, जब हम बोलते हैं, हम Father's Day बोलते हैं, Daughter's Day भी आता है. There's Mother's Day, there's Women's Day. I just feel, why is there a particular day designated to doing something? That actually is very contradictory to the purpose of things when you think about it. Like, are you trying to tell somebody that only respect women or celebrate women on that day, or are you telling people only love your spouse on Valentine's Day? I think it's contradictory. ना आप ये बोल रहे हो we are doing this to celebrate women, we are doing this to spread more love, पर मुझे लगता है anti हो जाता है वो एक दिन देके, बल्कि आप उसको और वो कर रहे हो navigate, you're just restricting the purpose, is what I feel. So the day we don't have a day dedicated to Women's Day, maybe we would have started actually cherishing and empowering women in our country. So that's the one last thing. And thank you so much, everybody who tuned in. And yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.